Let's talk about the do's and don'ts of going to the range. When you do go to the shooting range, please bring your gun. Make sure it's in a case, a hard case or a soft case, either or. Just make sure it is encased and it is unloaded, because you don't want any loaded firearms going into a gun range. You just don't. It's just something you don't do. Next thing, make sure that your ammo is easily available, because they might ask you what kind of ammo you shoot. They might ask you to look at the box or just tell you what kind it is. Like, you could tell them, but it's easier just show them the box and the ammo. So make sure it's easily accessible, and make sure that you are practicing safety. Please, that's just so important. Practice safety. I've seen so many people do so many questionable things going to the shooting range, shooting their guns, laying them sideways, laying them backwards, not aiming the muzzle down the range how it's supposed to be. It's just a lot of things that people just don't do right. And it's always going to be that they got one person that walks by and make sure everyone is doing the right thing. And they might do a thing like they call a ceasefire. If they call ceasefire, that means everyone should unload their firearm, take the magazine out, make sure it's nothing in the chamber. When you place your firearm down, it always has to stay down range. Your muzzle stays down range. Your muzzle is not pointed this way, it's not pointed this way, it's not pointed this way. It's always pointed down range where you're shooting at. That's important. That's very important, because I done seen a couple of people make that mistake where they just have the gun just laying there willy-nilly, fully loaded, and it's literally pointing behind them. Somebody could be walking past you and you can, it's just a lot. So make sure you are practicing gun safety, even when you're at the shooting range, because it's important. Mistakes happen all the time, and it only takes a split second for someone to get injured. So if it's your first time or you're a first time ranger, they might go over a few rules with you. Some places, they don't allow double taps. Double taps would mean just like a mag dump. If you want to go boom, 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 boom consecutively, a lot of places don't allow that. Well, a lot of places I go to, they don't allow. It's like a 3-second pause in between every shot. Is boom, then wait 3 seconds. It's like a 3-second pause between every shot. They're gonna tell you, always aim your gun down range. Make sure if you have any hiccups, any mistakes, that you take your magazine out, make sure it's fully unloaded, and then you can take your gun apart, see if you see anything wrong with it. That's why it's important to know how to take your guns apart. Like this gun, like even if you're not taking it apart to do a full fix, you can look in here, you can look and see if anything looks weird, if anything looks off. Because once you get used to shooting your gun, you shoot it a lot, you can tell when something is different. So you should always know how to take your guns apart, put them back together. That's another important rule, because I done had to do that a few times with my guns. I had to take them apart. And you should always oil your guns. Make sure they got oil in them. Make sure they lubricated. That's all a part of taking care of your firearms. Because if you take care of your firearm, I always say this, it will take care of you. So that's a few things that they will tell you. Always keep that muzzle pointed down range. Bring it in a hard case. Ask you what kind of ammo you shooting, and you got to get your ears or your ear protection, your eyes, your eye protection, the glasses. I made a video about this a couple weeks ago, not a couple weeks ago, but a couple days ago. It's in what's in my range bag. And you could bring a regular magazine with you, or you could bring an extended magazine with you. You could bring sights or flashlights with you. Really, whatever you want to bring with you. But I just choose not to bring no flashlights or no red dots, nothing like that. I just want to shoot my gun regularly, just to make sure it's sighted in, because you want to shoot your guns and make sure you get your gun sighted. You want to make sure you are practicing good gun safety. And when you do finish, make sure you just sweep up your spent shell casings. You don't have to clean up every last one, but make sure you do like a general little sweep around the area once you're done. Make sure you take your targets, and bring the targets home with you. I actually got one of my targets right here. I went to the range earlier today. I got one of my targets. I was shooting kind of low, actually. This is bad. I got a few more, but this one is kind of bad. I was shooting kind of low. I shot this heavy gun right here, and I was shooting kind of low, but lo and behold, my camera was not recording the whole time. So I am gonna go back to the range in probably a week, shoot this gun. I'm gonna make a whole video on just shooting this gun, because every time I always say I'm gonna do it, I never do it. So, and don't worry, it's always going to be an instructor walking back and forth, making sure everything is safe, make sure everything's running smoothly, make sure everyone is doing everything in their power to make sure no one gets hurt. So don't worry if you make any mistakes or you feel like you made any mistakes. There is no general mistakes unless you're not practicing gun safety or you're just negligent with your firearm. You should always make sure your gun is safe and secure, and make sure your gun is pointed down range. That way it's not pointed at anyone or yourself. That way you don't injure yourself or anyone else. Make sure you always leave your gun pointed down range. I've seen people get kicked out before having their guns literally pointed behind them, to where fully loaded guns pointed directly behind them, to where people are walking behind you to get to their shooting range lane. Like, you got a range here, you got a range here. I'm right here in this little box. My gun is pointed here. You gotta walk past me, and my gun is fully loaded. I don't know that. I'm just walking past, and your gun is fully loaded. Anything can happen. That's why they always say, point your gun down range. Always bring a hard case with you. That way you won't get any weird looks, because they might look at you very, very crazy if you walk in there with your gun on your hip, holstered just like this. You might actually get a gun drawn on you. So I would recommend not doing that. So put your gun in a hard case. Make sure your bullets are easily accessible so they know what kind of ammo you're shooting. Make sure you tell them what kind of gun you're shooting. Get your ears, your eyes, and be safe, be conscious, have fun, relax, and enjoy yourself. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And if you did, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys.